All right, today we are jumping into some really fascinating research that basically says we're holding back our most advanced AI. The core idea? To build truly smart systems, we have to stop treating them like lab rats in a cage and start building them entire digital societies. It's a huge idea, so let's get right into it. So the whole thing starts with this really provocative question. Imagine you've just built the most advanced race car in the world, but you only ever test it in a tiny, perfectly square parking lot. Kind of silly, right? Well, the authors of this paper argue that's exactly what we're doing with AI right now. See, on one side, you've got what they call the static sandbox. This is how most AI gets trained today. Closed environments, fixed goals, rigid rules. It's all very neat, very tidy, and completely, totally unlike the real world, which, as we all know, is messy, dynamic, and always changing. And this isn't some small, nitpicky problem. The paper argues this rigidity is a massive barrier. It basically stifles all creativity and stops AI from developing the one skill that really defines intelligence: adaptability. We're just training them to ace a test, not to actually learn and think. Okay, so if the sandbox is the problem, what's the solution? This is where things get really interesting. The researchers propose this radical new vision. It's about moving way beyond these sterile little environments and creating something much more alive. I mean, just try to picture this for a second. A digital world where AI agents aren't just following our orders, but are actually evolving on their own. They're creating their own cultures, inventing new languages, building entire societies from the ground up, all in response to their digital world and to each other. It's wild stuff. And this right here is the heart of it all. It's a concept called open-ended co-evolution. Think of it like a dynamic dance. The AI agents change their world, and then, in turn, the world changes them back. The goal isn't to get a high score on some fixed test. The real goal is continuous, surprising, and powerful adaptation. That's the whole game. Now, this might sound like something straight out of science fiction, right? But it's not. The paper actually lays out a super clear blueprint for how to build these digital ecosystems, and it's all based on 3 foundational pillars. Let's break down how this all works. Okay, so this visual lays out the whole vision perfectly. You've got these 3 core pillars: dynamic scenario evolution, agent environment coevolution, and generative agent architectures. Let's break down what each of these really means, because when you put them together, that's where you unlock the incredible stuff we'll talk about later. So, pillar number 1, the environment itself has to be alive. No more static game boards or predictable levels. In this new model, the world is constantly changing. It's always throwing new problems and new challenges at the agents, which forces them to constantly learn and adapt just to survive. Kind of like the real world. Next up, it's a two-way street. This is crucial. The agents aren't just reacting to their world, they are actively shaping it. Their actions have real consequences that change the environment, and those changes then create new pressures that shape how the agents evolve in the future. It's this constant, perpetual feedback loop of creation and adaptation. And finally, what's actually inside these agents? Well, they're not simple little bots. We're talking about generative agents powered by large language models. This gives them these sophisticated digital minds. This architecture is what lets them remember their experiences, perceive their world, and even reflect on their own actions to plan for the future. This is the engine that drives all of their complex, lifelike behavior. And this is a brilliant way to see how it all comes together in an agent's life. First, it perceives the world around it. Then, it reasons. It thinks and it plans. Then, it acts. It executes that plan. It also communicates with other agents. And here's the most important part. It learns from the outcome. It adapts. This whole loop just keeps going, and that's the very engine of its evolution. Okay, so this is an absolutely incredible concept, but so what? What's the point? Why does building these crazy, complex digital societies actually matter in the real world? Well, it turns out the potential applications are nothing short of transformative. Well, for starters, we could build way more realistic economic models. Imagine trying to simulate a market, not with a bunch of simplified equations, but with millions of adaptive AI agents that behave and trade and react to policy changes a lot more like real, unpredictable people do. The kinds of insights you could get from that would be absolutely unprecedented.
Or think about this. This could completely revolutionize how we design our cities. You could simulate how a new public transit system would actually affect a community's social life, with these digital agents showing you all the unexpected consequences before a single dollar is ever spent or a single brick is laid. That's a huge deal. And in the world of science, this could be a total game changer. You could create AI research partners that don't just fetch data for you, but actively collaborate with you. They could spot patterns in the data that we might miss and even propose entirely new hypotheses. It could truly, fundamentally accelerate the pace of discovery itself.
But, of course, building a digital universe isn't exactly easy. There are some massive challenges here. I mean, how do you even evaluate an AI that is designed to be unpredictable? How do you manage the insane amount of computing power this would take? And maybe most importantly, how do you make sure these complex systems are safe and stay within the boundaries we set? These are the huge questions researchers are trying to figure out right now. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most profound takeaway from all of this research. It really requires a complete shift in our mindset about what we even want from AI in the first place. This one sentence really captures the entire spirit of the paper. For decades, AI research has been all about control, all about predictability. This paper argues for the exact opposite. It says the true potential of AI will only be unlocked when we're willing to let go and to embrace the unexpected. Because unpredictability, that's where the real innovation happens. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. The goal here is to build an AI that can actually outgrow its initial programming to discover things we never even thought to ask. But if we succeed, if we actually do that, are we ready for what it might find?